I'm detecting intruders.
Calvin. Athena.
Let's drop the beat!
Hello and welcome back to Overwatch, where in this video I will be going through all of the tanks this time round. Last time I went through all the support heroes, now I'm going through all the tanks, so I guess I'm kind of doing it in the reverse order that everyone else would likely do this. And I've already been through my reasoning for doing this, and it's basically I want people to stop playing DPS so I can finally do it. So I'm trying to teach people how to use the classes that aren't DPS. I can't tell if I'm being selfish or not. I really hope not. Your role as a tank, more than anything else, is to be the backbone of your team, to support them, and to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Most of the time, your team should be following you into battle, which does technically mean that you're the more likely reason that your entire team dies. So, no pressure. Don't really know who to start off with. Actually, because he's going to be getting a change soon, let's start with Roadhog. I think Roadhog is one of the more notorious tanks in Overwatch for, let's be honest, one reason.
Excuse me? What is Hook?
I headshot on him.
He even looked away like he didn't think he'd hook anyone. You do have the highest health pool of any hero in the game at 600 HP, although don't expect to keep it for very long for the simple reason that, well, to put it bluntly, Roadhog's primary fire is his scatter gun, which is basically just a shotgun. However, at extreme close ranges, and I mean like melee range close, it can deal up to 400 damage, which is absolutely terrifying. His ult fire is kinda weird, so I'm gonna try and explain it as best I can. What it essentially does is it packs all the damage of your primary fire into a little ball and launches it out of the front of his gun. Once it gets 10 meters away from where you are, it will then explode in the exact same manner that the primary fire does. The main difference here being is that obviously you get that extended range. Roadhog's first ability is his hook. Oh boy. Being the definition of ultimate cheese, the hook allows you to hook an enemy up to roughly 20 meters, pull them towards you, putting them in the melee 400 damage, practically an insta-kill range for your primary weapon. I mean, it doesn't work all the time after the most recent patch. If the person you hook goes out of your line of sight while you have them hooked, the hook will break.
Nope. Son of a bitch!
Then again, it does actually do a small amount of damage, so you can actually kill people just with the hook.
Damn!
The hook has this really weird feeling associated with it, because while it feels really satisfying to hook someone, pulling someone in and reducing them from 100% health to 0 with one shot, it feels really cruel.
Whoa, that's like fucking mean.
His second ability allows him to vape half of his health back in an instant.
This is good shit.
And Roadhog's ultimate allows him to spit shards of metal towards the enemies faster than Donald Trump goes through orange spray paint. One thing that's really annoying about Roadhog is that he has these really amazing skins that I don't have. I mean, you know, the one I've got's, you know, pretty goddamn good, I'm not gonna lie. But some of the others are just so good, and it's really confusing on why I didn't just buy them, because not to toot my own horn here, but I am quite loaded in the money department, so much so that whenever I get money or duplicates, I'm just like,
What are these curious circles? They have little faces on them, how quaint. Poor people eat these.
Anyway, the moral of this story is, if you're a Roadhog main, kill yourself. Next up on the list is the tankiest of all tanks in Overwatch, which is Reinhardt.
Smashing!
smashing!
When I was talking about being the backbone of the team when you're playing as a tank in Overwatch, I think Reinhardt defines this more than any other tank. Reinhardt's primary fire is, if you couldn't have guessed already, his magnificent hammer he wields, which it just kind of speaks for itself, to be honest.
I just figured since you, oh my god, you slapped that weeaboo.
His first ability is Fire Strike, which allows him to get a little bit more range, does 100 damage on anything you hit. His charge allows him to charge forward. If you're able to pin an enemy as you're moving forward and squish them against a wall, it will do almost 300 damage, which is very nice.
Back up so I can heal you.
Ha!
Or you can
Right. And it's listed as Reinhardt's alt fire, but you don't actually shoot anything. But you put this giant 2000 HP shield right in front of your face. This is one of the most useful abilities in all of Overwatch and is crucial for allowing your team to push up onto objectives. Now for Reinhardt's ult, I want you to try and guess in the next 5 seconds what song I'm going to use for it.
Hammer time!
A couple of notes on Reinhardt I thought I'd just make real quick. You can expect to get nano boosted by Anna pretty often as Reinhardt, like stupidly often. So often that sometimes it just doesn't even feel that important anymore.
Yeah, bitch! Wow! Oh my god!
Also, during my playtime of Overwatch, I found that there tends to be 2 types of Reinhardt player. The first is the passive shield Reinhardt, who just keeps his shield up the entire time.
Yeah.
Oh!
I got popped.
And the other is the balls to the wall, pretend everything is a nail Reinhardt. Get wrecked!
Normies!
Quadruple kill! And if you main Reinhardt, what you're basically saying is,
I take a look at my enormous penis, and my troubles start a melting away.
Zarya's primary fire is a short-range laser beam, which is really quite underwhelming. Zarya's alternative fire are arcing balls of tickling. They're also stupidly underwhelming. But the real ticker with Zarya is her particle barrier, which she can apply to both herself and teammates. Any damage given to a player while particle barrier is on them will all be absorbed by the barrier, just sort of protecting whoever has a particle barrier on them. Not only that, but all of the damage taken up by the barriers is then applied to Zarya and given to her laser beam. Each barrier can give Zarya a maximum of 40% charge, but once you get to those high charge levels, all of a sudden those underwhelming primary and alternate fire modes become quite scary.
Incoming! Here I come! Now it's coward killing time!
And Zarya's ult allows her to defy every single law of physics and launch a black hole out of the front of her gun, which sucks all the enemies into it.
Oh, sorry!
Do you even lift?
I find Zarya players tend to be some of the most selfless people when it comes to Overwatch, because you're sacrificing your damage and your mobility to just keep your team alive.
Get it!
Roadhog's fat, damn it. And next up on the tank roster is Winston, the giant space monkey scientist, who has a crippling addiction to peanut butter, who likes electrocuting people to death. Just try and take all that in. Winston's primary fire is his Tesla cannon, which, while shooting electricity, doesn't do that much damage and just sort of tickles people until they die. Winston's first ability is his jump pack, which allows him to fly around the map, Goomba stomping people, as you still try and make Winston look viable.
He reflected my flashbang again!
It's 100% intentional. And Winston's second ability is his barrier shield, or as I like to call it, his net, which allows you to protect yourself and your teammates once you get near a bunch of enemies. It works very much like Reinhardt's shield, and is still not great, but still allows you to do work. Winston's ult allows you to go full Harambe as you jump absolutely everywhere, just smacking the ever-living shit out of everything. What's good, you guys? Wow, he went high. The one thing I will say about Winston is that when you're jumping around, just try not to get carried away. Okay. And like Winston as a whole, his ult is just massively underwhelming to the point where just getting one kill with it is like mission accomplished.
Oh god, not good, not good!
Bye, Anna. To be perfectly honest, I'm not that great with Winston. I mean, there are some players who are absolutely amazing with him, but I feel like I really can't do him justice. Well, except in the impression department. Hi there.
That's you. That's how dumb you sound.
And finally on the list of tanks we have D.va, who, apart from Tracer, I would say takes the award for most obnoxious character in the game. I mean, if scrolling through her voice lines isn't enough to give someone an aneurysm, I don't know what will.
Am I dead yet?
D.va's primary fire are what are effectively short-range, fast-firing shotguns, which really do fall off at range, but do have unlimited ammo, so you can just keep firing until the cows come home. D.va's first ability are her thruster rockets, which allow her to be propelled in any direction for 2 seconds, which while are mostly used as a movement ability can actually be lethal as they do a small amount of damage. This can be done by what is essentially just headbutting people.
Don't fucking run away from me! First blood! Fuck you! Humiliation.
Or even using its knockback to boot people off edges.
Dominating!
Yes! You can also use it to save yourself from falling off edges, which I imagine is extremely frustrating for the person trying to do it to you.
There's only 2 ways this can end, and in both of them, you die.
How about new?
D.va's alternate fire is her defense matrix, which allows her to eat anything the enemy throws in your general direction. To be perfectly honest, it's one of the abilities that still makes D.va viable. I mean, I can even eat ultimates.
Did he just get eaten?
Nope. Fight! Yep. Speaking of ultimates, D.va's is a giant nuke that kills everything.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Oh, I'm coming. I'm done here. I fulfilled my purpose. I need to see no more shit down here.
Oh my god, here we go. Mother of my child.
D.va does also have a passive ability, which is when she gets to 0 health. Instead of dying, she actually gets ejected out of her mech suit, and while she's much less effective when she's out of her mech, she can still do some work. Yes! The game is Baby D.va. Oh, it's beautiful. I think the simplest way of describing D.va is by showing you this image of a snake in a unicorn hat. Because, don't get me wrong, it is absolutely adorable. I would love to go and give it a hug. But if you get too close, the likelihood of it tearing your head off is quite high.
Sweet, cute love sparkle.
Pain explosion.
And those are all the tank heroes in Overwatch. I do hope this was helpful, if not entertaining, if not that. I'm sorry. And if I do another one of these, it's gonna be on defense heroes, most likely, where I shall try and justify my purchase of a gold widow gun. I am really, really gonna try.
Throw it at him, not me! We are number one, now watch and learn. Here's the deal. We are number one, just follow the rules and sneak around. We are number one, be careful not to make a sound. We are number one, here's a little lesson in trickery. We are number one, this is going down in history. We are number one, if you wanna be a villain, number one. We are number one, you have to chase a superhero on the run.
We are number one. Wait, what? Oh, for fuck!